Introductions and endings are some of the hardest sections of a story to write. A proper intro must correctly establish the setting, the stakes, and have a proper exposé on the premise. If you're introducing Chapter 2, obviously there must be some connection to Chapter 1. A premise opens the door for the audience. The ending is the culmination of all ideas and the finality of the quest the protagonist was on, the outcome of their choices and conflicts. We can finally close that door. When the stakes are high, apparently spanning the galaxy, so too must scenes, conflicts, themes, and the scope of the plot be. The plot, of course, is the thing that keeps the door open. This must happen in order to properly and logically address these ideas. It doesn't really matter what these ideas are, it's how they're presented. That's what writer's craft is all about. This is very important, especially when we're dealing with a story like Mass Effect. The setting is huge, the characters are numerous, the story is epic, and our protagonist so far has been a static brick. The intro and ending of Mass Effect 3 does not properly resolve the issues it set up, from its own story or from its previous chapter. The premise is there, but we can't comprehend it. The plot is well established, and it does follow a logical, meaningful path. But the overarching plot gets belittled and confusedly destroyed in both intro and ending. It's the equivalent of trying to build a cybernetic human with an excellently functioning spinal cord, but there's no feet or no head attached. And in one case, doing something horribly, horrendously, unnaturally wrong, whose point I cannot comprehend, which I unfortunately will have to address later. Till then, let's look at the intro. So, we start up our game, and it looks like we're about to play Warcraft 3. Never mind. We create a character, yada yada, okay, here we go. We get a bunch of guys looking at the galaxy map, while two guys named Hackett and Anderson are worried about what someone named Shepard warned them of. Fade to a picture of a planet, supposedly Earth, and text on a screen. It tells us sentient machines called Reapers kill everything in the galaxy every 50,000 years. Oh my goodness, that's probably what Anderson and Hackett were talking about. And one soldier has seen the legend come to life. Ah, I wonder who that is, because I chose Vanguard, not Soldier. All kidding aside, this is fine, unless you played that other thing, and Reapers are actually cybernetic spaceships. Cut to a scene of a kid playing with a toy plane on a rooftop and some dude looking at him. Then some guy walks in, calls him Commander, the Commander calls him James, and James tells him the Defense Committee wants to see him. Apparently they know each other, and this is apparently a military place. From either camp, these questions naturally form in our minds. They're not damaging the narrative, they're just natural. Who is James? Why is he in our bedroom and talking to Shepard like he knows him? What did Shepard do that James isn't supposed to salute him or call him by rank? And in the played before camp, there is, why is Shepard not on the Normandy? What is he doing here, and how did he get here? And what was the point of Mass Effect 2's arrival? As in, how do we get from here to here? Okay, so we're in some military place and James isn't in uniform. Maybe the future military is more liberal with dress codes. I guess they couldn't afford any shirts his size after they spent it all on his super soldier steroid therapy.
How you holding up since being relieved from duty?
Why? Shepard's the savior of the galaxy, what, 3 times over? What exactly did Shepard do to relieve him of duty? Was that whole Batarian relay thing? Because I thought there'd be a trial. So, did we already have the trial? Which should have been an Arcturus station, the seat of power of the Alliance military, not Earth. You know, it was implied from the bridge to Mass Effect 3 there'd be a trial, that DLC called Arrival. What was the point of Mass Effect 2 again? So Anderson informs us the Defense Committee wants to talk to Shepard because they think it's the Reapers.
You faced down a Reaper. Hell, you spoke to one, then blew the damn thing up.
Oh, that's kind of important. I can totally see why we'd want to talk to Shepard about that. No, he didn't. He fought Saren and then Saren the cybernetic body, supposedly possessed by Sovereign, and then destroyed that. Magically, Sovereign went adrift, and Joker, piloting the Normandy and what was left of the Fifth Fleet, finally got a chance to damage it. That's it. Shepard still has no idea how to stop the Reapers unless one suddenly possesses a cybernetic thrall and decides to jump around the room like a Mega Man boss.
When you blew up the Batarian relay, hundreds of thousands of Batarians died.
It was that or let the Reapers walk through our back door.
Oh, okay. Shepard killed a whole bunch of people. Wait, what's a relay? Is this really a story for newcomers? Okay, so the Defense Committee is in a courtroom. Why? What military law, need of lawyers, or procedure would a Defense Committee need to enact here? let alone using this room. I'm sure there could be, I just don't see it.
Shepard.
Ashley?
Oh, hey there, who are you?
I can never tell with them. I'm just waiting for orders now.
What does the Defense Committee of Earth even bother to order around a lieutenant commander for in a courtroom? What could they possibly have been talking about? Did she do something illegal? What, is she in charge of the biggest defense turret on the planet? Oh God, no. You do not want her in charge of turrets. Wait a moment here, it all makes sense. Were you the guys who put her in charge of Horizon?
Lieutenant Commander.
You hadn't heard?
No. I'm a bit out of the loop these days.
Sorry, sir. Didn't mean to keep you out of the loop.
And quite the loop it was. Let's see. She went from Gunnery Chief in Mass Effect 1 to Operations Chief in Mass Effect 2 to a full-blown Lieutenant Commander. The only thing she did in Mass Effect 2 was pass out, magically not get captured via Shepard somehow saving her ass. Oh yeah, she's totally promotion material. She jumped 3 entire ranks in an unknown amount of time, is now on par with Shepard. And she calls us Sir. Okay, maybe she's just being formal. She also has an S1 label on her apparently custom uniform. What, does the military have designer outfits now? Maybe she's like a space lawyer for turrets. Now, we know Shepard's an N7, which is a vocational code, but my Google searches on S1 brought up nothing, so it must be some other training that also made her stand out enough to get Lieutenant Commander? And the number 1 means something different because the lower the number, the less status in that program, so unless several years have already passed, I can't see her rising in the ranks that quickly. So, how is this a courtroom? Do defendants and plaintiffs just stand around?
What's the situation?
We were hoping you would tell us.
At this point, we barely have any idea who anyone is, why they're here, how they got here, where here is, how much time has passed from the previous title, and what is going on. Let's not forget it's been 2 games so far and we have almost no clue how to stop the Reapers, let alone 1. We apparently had 1 DLC from the previous title and it's not helping us connect the dots.
Then, how do we stop them?
Stop them. This isn't about strategy or tactics. This is about survival.
Shepard's a soldier. Vanguard! Arguably the best, but as a boots-on-ground kind of guy, all he knows is how to point his gun and fire or use his kinetic or tech powers. He's not an admiral or a weapon developer. The last time he gave a ship command, he nearly got everyone killed. The Alliance's 5th Fleet was intimately involved in the Battle of the Citadel, which involved the destruction of a Reaper. Numerous ships, both Turian and human, were destroyed to bring Sovereign down. Dear Mass Effect 3, are you trying to tell me the Defense Committee of Earth, part of the Systems Alliance, who is probably in charge of various planetary defenses like using spaceships, have accumulated no tactical data? We know they have new weapons called Thanix cannons, which was technology developed from the destruction of Sovereign, which most fighters and frigates have, and are widely used by the Alliance military. You can't think about using them on the Reapers? What? Were the reports you were receiving telling you that, yeah, you shouldn't use those Thanix cannons on Reapers, that just won't work? So, even though it's believable the Systems Alliance can at least come up with a strategy or tactic against the Reapers, and Shepard was involved with all those battles in some way, he pretty much says that fighting the Reapers is pointless and that it's all about survival.
But there must be some way.
If we're gonna have any chance at surviving this, we have to stand together.
That's it? That's our plan?
However you see it, either by design or character, Shepard's a moron. What was this Admiral guy expecting from him anyway that he hasn't already told him? He just said we either need to stand together or give our lives to save humanity. Although why humanity is suddenly important, I don't know, because the Reapers are going to kill everything in the galaxy, but hey, this is a human defense council, human interests, still don't believe Reapers, okay, I gotcha. The Defense Council, or at least the Admiral guy, should be the one coming up with a plan based on the combat data from Sovereign, the weapons and technology from it, the upgrades to the entire fleets, or whatever assets he has at his disposal. I'd imagine a capable strategist would be employing a similar plan to any kind of planetary defense threat, but apparently those reports have him quaking in his boots.
What do we do?
The only thing we can. We fight, or we die.
Yeah, okay, here's the problem here. You see, you just told us this is about survival, not tactics or strategy. Doesn't fighting involve tactics or strategy? So, aside from either contradicting himself or at least changing his mind, logically, Shepard just said, we die or we die. That's the plan. Really, that's what he's saying. As grim as that sounds, we really need some leadership here, and no one in the room has any idea what's going on. Well, aside from Shepard's Paragon option to stand together, but now suddenly he thinks dying is the way to go. What Shepard should have said was, Earth is finished, we either die today, or we abandon Earth, retreat, gather forces, and live to fight tomorrow. The idea of getting a hold of other species to unite against the Reapers sounds totally fine. He also should have rubbed it in their faces so they feel scared and motivated and hope they decide to put their faith in the guy who was crying wolf the entire time instead of standing around like idiots. But again, we don't know how much time has passed, or what the hell happened to Shepard's trial, or why we're even on Earth, or why admirals have no concept of space defense. So hey, considering how stupid everything is now, who am I to say which question the narrative should answer first? So everything goes Independence Day, a laser or something causes explosions, and it blows up the courtroom desk. Luckily, due to Shepard and Anderson's rolling a saving throw, or using their desk dodging skill, they're the only ones in the room that survive and decide to try and escape to the Normandy. And all the while I'm thinking, why are the Reapers attacking buildings? Is this Godzilla? Is this a shock and awe doctrine? Why don't they just nuke the planet? If they wanted to kill the opposition, why not just blow everything away from orbit? Why get close? In the harvesting analogy, this is the equivalent of trying to plow a field that's a continent long with 100 of your buddies, but you're all using spoons. What's so special about Earth? I thought the Reaper's plan was to attack the Citadel, control it, and then cripple the galaxy. Now, in Mass Effect 2, we learned that humans are special and that they're needed to make a human Reaper via retardedness. So, if the Reapers need lots of humans to make a human Reaper, why are they vaporizing millions of them at an alarming rate? Why not just kill the military opposition and then harvest billions? If the goal is to make one human Reaper and they're obviously taking their time, why go through the effort of using lasers and stomping around on buildings that offer no threat? And we don't even know why exactly they're doing this, aside from the motive of procreation. Taken even further, if Reapers are so advanced, as evidenced by their control of the Collectors and the Keepers, why do they want to harvest humans anyway? Was there something wrong with cloning? Because that seems way more efficient than this method of destruction. Why is the antagonist doing what they're doing in the way they are doing it? What plot of theirs changed? Because it would have been entirely practical to seeker swarm the entire planet. What was the point of Mass Effect 2? So whatever, we're running around with Anderson, and then we eventually come to this closed door and cue one of two pieces of Clint Mansell you'll ever hear. We then find a kid who somehow found himself in an air duct. Wait a sec, is this the same kid we saw playing on a rooftop by himself with that plane, a building away? How did he get into the air duct of this building? This implies the kid somehow got off the roof of that building, made his way to the ground or through a bridge to this building, instead of running away. He then somehow got to the roof of this building and then went all Adam Jensen on us, crawling backwards. He doesn't seem to have any faith in the military, saying Shepard cannot help him, even though this is a military building.
You can't help me.
So why and how are you even here? You think there'd be security and locked doors and rubble, or was that the point of the Reapers to attack buildings, for Shepard to meet this kid in an air duct? We're about to help him and then Anderson distracts us and the kid just goes all Haley Joel Osment on us. We didn't even hear him disappear, even though we heard him before, so unless Shepard's been in therapy or something due to his Prothean visions or post-traumatic stress, aside from showing us Bioware can finally now model and cast children, what was this scene for?
I never asked for this.
I certainly don't care about some random kid, or the dramatic implications of having innocents of war die, because we have a galaxy to save. What's the big deal? Maybe if we were helping that James guy out, or that other lady, I might care, because maybe they might tell me who they were and what the hell is going on. So, Anderson and Shepard are talking as they're trying to get past some rubble. Once again, Shepard either forgets what he said about uniting the galaxy or has no understanding of what the Reaper's goal is.
The Citadel. The fight's here.
It'll be everywhere soon enough. You said it yourself. The Reapers will destroy everything if we don't stop them.
Thank you. At this point, I have to ask again, what is wrong with Shepard? Was he actually on Earth for therapy? Trying to paint him as the fish out of water or the ignorant protagonist in the third part of a trilogy is really not establishing his character very well. We're well past that. As a writing note, the protagonist can ask simple questions anytime for clarity, but making statements on what he should be doing when both the audience and himself knows what's at stake, and those statements are contradictory, probably isn't the way to go. Despite being a trained combatant, Shepard nearly takes a flip, and Anderson apparently saves him despite Shepard also possibly being a biotic. You know, one of 3 classes out of 6 that can control gravity. As per Ashley's description over the radio, we see a dreadnought getting destroyed. The problem is that dreadnoughts are so large, almost 1 kilometer, that it is impossible for them to safely land on a planet and must discharge their drive cores into the magnetic field of a planet while in orbit. So does that mean they can even enter Earth's atmosphere, let alone come within 100 meters of sea level? I have no idea. So Shepard gets some serious rug burn from the explosion, like loses his entire epidermal layer, but no, his clothing and skin are okay. Maybe he's got like Superman's aura going for him. Must have been that whole thing where Shepard became a cybernetic organism, living tissue of a metal endoskeleton thing. Or that heavy skin weave upgrade from the last game, or the production team was just too lazy. When protagonists go through physical conflict and it leaves injuries, that's a good thing. At least in this case, it'll give Dr. Chakwas something to do, because God knows we're eventually going to have to see her, doing nothing. So, we can't contact the Normandy due to interference, so we're off to search for a radio, which is hopefully stronger than the one we're currently using. I don't know, that doesn't seem logical considering the interference would still be present, regardless of our elevation due to, that whole Reaper shower and, hi there. We find some injured Marines, and Anderson says we're going to get them out of here by going to their downed gunship to see if we can use their radio. Okay, I don't understand that, but maybe their radio is stronger or has some sort of nifty networking protocol that Anderson's doesn't. We find the radio, a new gun, and we contact the Normandy. Fancy that. We also turn on the radio's distress beacon. Okay, that's cool. I like that. Makes sense. Although, now I'm curious whether that will attract the enemy to us. No? Oh well. I guess our insignificant radio protocols aren't worth listening to when our opponents apparently have unfathomable minds and motives. While we're speculating whether any Reapers can now detect Shepard, the bane of their existence for this cycle, when he's just standing right there in the open, the radio interference comes back, and we lost our signal to the Normandy. So we defend this position for some reason till the Normandy comes by to pick us up. I guess the radio is bolted into place, and some infernals come down from the... cannibals magically come down from the sky, aren't pulverized, and just get up like nothing's happened and shoot at us. Wait, did the Reapers just drop them from orbit? Or were they inside the atmosphere? Or... You know what, Mass Effect? You suck at physics, okay? Especially planetary entry physics. You're just dumb. Read a book. Now, if you're not a gun-based player, then this battle will take a long, long time. So just drain all your thermal clips, shoot at the ground, shoot the sky, Anderson, it doesn't really matter, and eventually the Normandy will finally appear and clean house. We're about to leave, but Anderson doesn't want to.
You saw those men back there. There's a million more like them, and they need a leader.
You just said you're going to help those Marines get out of here. And now you want to go back and lead them? Where are you going to take them? Oh yeah, you're totally leadership material. Staying on Earth is a death sentence. There's no reason to be here. You're going to die. Those men are going to die. Everything on Earth is going to die. What we need now are leaders. Smart ones, but not on Earth, because the Reapers are on Earth. Earth is screwed. Anyone who stays here is screwed. We need to protect the galaxy. The Reapers are going to kill everything in the galaxy. Now's a great time to go all Watchmen on the galaxy. Band together. Earth is just one planet. We could really, really use your help, Anderson. Really, just not here.
We're in this fight together!
It's a fight we can't win. Not without help. We need every species and all their ships to even have a chance at defeating the Reapers.
I agree. The battle for Earth is lost. We need to gather forces from the entire galaxy and strike back. I don't care how many ground troops you can get together. They aren't going to be able to stop a 2-kilometer tall spaceship prancing around on skyscrapers like a bad Godzilla movie. There's no strategy here. You have zero tactics. We have no means of stopping them. Why are you bothering? Really, what the devil does Anderson hope to accomplish? So Anderson gives Shepard back his commander status, gives him an order to leave, and Shepard says this.
I'll be back for you, and I'll bring every fleet I can.
Nice sentiment, but I really don't think that's very believable within any established time frame, strategy, or tactic, and I think Anderson knows that. The planet is under attack. There will be nowhere to hide. Even if the future Earth has some network of underground caves or something, I just don't get what Anderson's trying to do here. Maybe he's trying to play the hero, but there's no drama and there's no plan, and it's stupid. Now we cue the second of 2 Clint Mansell pieces, send him a check and a thank you email for his hard work, and see some kind of spider-looking Reaper, apparently. No, really, it's a giant spider. Now, maybe this is just me, but why am I suddenly thinking of Kevin Smith talking about his story of the latest Superman movie he was almost involved in?
And King Kong's revealed, and it's a real big moment. I want that moment in this movie. I want some doors to open up, but big fucking spiders there. So I was just like, all right.
And again, the spider is using a laser to shoot things, and I'm thinking, what is this for? If there's an army of billion-year-old super intelligent AI who can manipulate organisms to do their bidding, both mentally and physically, and they wanted to eradicate all life, or, I don't know, just target a particular material or compound on the planet, or eliminate any kind of human existence, how about just using nanotechnology? Here's a scene from the day the Earth stood still. Obviously, the Reapers, for some reason, aren't as sophisticated to employ such an idea, despite being millions or billions of years old, so they have to resort to giant spider creatures and giant squid spaceships with lasers that step on buildings. You know when Sovereign said this?
Our numbers will darken the sky of every world. You cannot escape your doom.
I thought it would be from the sky. And our intrepid teleporting child somehow makes it to the ground again, gets into a shuttle, and gets punched out of the sky by a laser. Shepard obviously feels lasers and shuttles are super tragic, especially when they explode with punching sound effects. And someone screaming. The Normandy finally flies off, luckily not getting shot down despite previously taking heavy fire, and we see just how ridiculously grim the situation for Earth is, as each comet appears to be a giant Reaper coming down. Well, good luck there, Anderson. Previously in Mass Effect 2, the subtitle was Fight for the Lost. Luckily, this barely amounted to a hill of lost crewmates. In Mass Effect 3, it's Take Earth Back. Unfortunately, this time around they took this seriously because I have no clue. Earth is so much more important than the entire galaxy. The narrative has failed to establish any importance or value to Earth. It focused on some random kid and large spaceships stomping on buildings. We don't even know why or how Shepard's here. I was expecting a trial where my previous choices from the other games came back to haunt me, or have friends and enemies coming to help or hinder Shepard's defense. This isn't just a great idea, as other excellent RPGs have shown, and would have been a fantastic tutorial and recap like Shepard breaking out of prison, and we could put our faith in Blast Hard Cheese. It was what was supposed to happen.
We put our faith in Blast Hard Cheese.
Unfortunately, the rival DLC became a bridge to nowhere. There's no reason for this scene to exist. There's no value here. We're thrown into a narrative supposedly in media res without any care for what happened before. The game may as well have been called Mass Effect Take Earth Back. Shepard could have been about to go to his trial on Earth instead of Arcturus Station, and then the Reapers came. You could arguably have seen this story from another perspective, like another protagonist for the intro, like, I don't know, Ashley Caden or Slab Bulkhead. The intro would have been largely unchanged, only it would have actually connected. It could even connect in a very poor and lame way. but at least it would connect and make sense. We have way more concern for other established alien characters and their homeworlds and their problems than we do for Earth. Way more than we have for these random new people who have no character. That's not to say Earth couldn't have been made personal and meaningful, it just never was in the previous games and never was in this intro. So why Anderson is staying, why Shepard wants to come back and save the planet instead of stopping to think about the entire galaxy, that's kind of important. The premise is neatly laid out, but our protagonist, instead of actively choosing what to do to resolve the problem in the simplest logical manner, or at least start to do so, just follows orders from his superior. And there's a teleporting kid. That's the intro. So the intro, or at least what it attempted to do, simply makes us believe the fight for Earth is going to be important. That's what makes a contrived, meaningless voyage the protagonist strives for, which we can only guess relates to a plot point, a goal, or the ending of a plot. It does three things it should not have. One, it makes Mass Effect 3 almost completely independent of what came before, aside from a reference here or there, but doesn't define how or why the new setting is relevant. We don't know who people are, why they are, or how much time has passed, even though we had an ending of a story to the previous chapter and even a bridging DLC. Both of these do nothing to set up anything. Two, it marginalized and belittled the premise. The premise is still the Reapers have come to the galaxy, when the intro changes this to the Reapers have come to Earth. In context, that's fine. The people on Earth are thinking about their planet. That's cool. But this could have worked intelligently. Unfortunately, there's no reason to care or suddenly make Earth relevant to the story's plot, let alone the Reaper's plot, and as a consequence of those two things, three, there's stupid, meaningless fluff. Shepard's a moron, like we need that to be confirmed, and Anderson's a heroic idiot. I don't know why these guys are even here, or any of these scenes. It just becomes a big mashup of questions and explosions. You can pretty much just watch the intro to any catastrophe movie. The tragedy is, BioWare could just as easily have made such a catastrophe movie style intro, but with meaning, with relevant characters, with a direct connection to what came before. But they didn't. Luckily, the simple plot we were all expecting takes over, and it's solid, and the story progresses into a meaningful conflict or a series of conflicts and helps solve the plot's goal, which is, of course, stopping the bad guys. Next, we'll be looking at the concept for the plot, and finally, the controversial ending.